Hi, I'm Irene Wong, a ballroom dancer for 14 years and a co-owner of a costume business called Dancewear Works. Today, I want to talk about the subjects a lot of people said. Ballroom dancing is a super expensive sport, isn't it? So I want to solve the myth. So actually, ballroom dancing is not. So I'm going to give you a fact, the fact-based comparison to many of the sports or hobbies out there. So let's start with a basic fact. So actually doing ballroom dancing can be free. You know, why I said that. Before COVID, you probably have a little bit less choice. But after COVID, during COVID, a lot of people, a lot of studio cannot do in person dancing. So a lot of them already produce a lot of the ballroom technique, how to do ballrooms, and online learning basic steps and things like that on YouTube's. So if you search any of the YouTube ballroom dancing, how to do cha-cha, how to do waltz, how to do tango, it was out there. There are so many free choices for ballroom dancing. Even myself, with friends, we created we call it community ballroom. So you can learn about ballroom dancing on Zoom. So we do it once a week, during the fall and spring. So it's completely free. We don't call ourselves teaching dancing because we are not professional, but we are sharing the steps that we have learned, so everyone can learn about it, enjoy it. So I show in my kids' videos that my son and I also did a teaching, quote unquote teaching. Don't talk about is a teach, but sharing what we have learned. Of course, when you are really serious about competition, really wanted to do really better dancing, do go to teachers and go to take professional teaching and learn from the better dancer coaches as well. So then we're talking about, okay, I am not a person to be able to do learning from YouTube. What are the other options? Is it become expensive? Actually, there are group lessons and private lessons compared to any sports, right? If you do private lesson, definitely it will be more expensive because you get a coach doing private just for you, and their time worth the money, and so it's comparable. So for me, I pay $85 an hour for my children to learn piano. So what are the difference, right? For a private, or even more if you need a more advanced teacher to teach you. So it's similar for ballroom dancing. The group lessons around $15 to $35 per lessons, and then the private lesson can range from $70 to $150. So it's ranged like that. If you look at just piano alone, right, or even tennis or whatever, it's very similar, comparable. So I wouldn't say it's much more expensive than many of the sport out there. So we are willing to pay for our kids all these great lessons, but are we willing to do something for ourselves? So I think that is one thing that we always want to look at, is that we also with it. We also need to do exercise. We also need to continue to learn, to enjoy ourselves. Ballroom dancing is a great way to do it because you don't need any skills, and then you can do it at your spare time. Group lessons or private. So that allow you to do that. Some people say, okay, some studio don't offer a lot of group lessons, adult group lessons. How can you do? And don't limit by what the studio offer. You can talk to them. One of my friends, Amanda, she have her husband, they trying to get a few more couples that they can do it together. So they work with the studio and say, hey, I have 2 more couples. Can we do a group lesson, just us, private? And because some people don't want it to be, in a group environment, then you can do that too. So for me, I have 3 kids, and I work with the other 2 kids their parent together and then create a group lesson for my kids. And the same apply to grown up as well. So if they're not offering, do ask the studio to do that. These are the price points that I talked about. I don't think it's more than any other sports or hobbies out there. Then people ask, how about competitions? Do we need to do competition, showcase, and what are those courses? So for competition, you become the next level of dancing, right? Even though when you do compete in bicycle, for example, my friend need to pay for a $10,000 bicycle because he was a serious biker. And that is the point of when we talk about dancing competition. The costumes and all the costs associated with it. You can also judge how much important that is and how much the tools that you want to be, because the costume, for example, yeah, of course, some people pay $10,000 a dress. I won't. And that's why I created Dancewear Works. So enable anyone willing to want to dance can look good on the dance floor without need to, bankrupt their wallet, empty their wallet. So you judge your, financial situation and compare that rate. So we can talk about costumes in the next topics, how it costs and what kind of things that you can do. And there's a lot of options there. And of course, competition, we're talking about, people say, I need to pay for the teacher to do the competition. There are what we call the pro-am, professional amateur competition. Definitely you do need to pay for your teacher. So they need their time spent with you dancing, competing, and you pay for that. But there are also a whole series of things, and you can compete with MM, which is called amateur. So that will reduce the cost, and you can even share your lessons and share your competition costs. And then there are different competition out there, and it's very, very low cost competition available as well. So there's a not limit. So I trying to make sure you understand it's not one way, but multiple way if you open your eyes and to learn about it. So what I want to mention today is that ballroom dancing, actually anybody can afford if you want to do it. So it is not too expensive, and everyone can dance. So keep on dancing if you are interested and explore ballroom dancing. I hope you like what I shared today. If you do, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe my channel. Don't forget to hit the little bell button, so when I have a new video comes out, you will be notified. Keep on dancing.